Alright, good evening agents and happy Friday to you. Alright, so I've been working on a build that is a little bit different and just playing around with it, having fun with it. But interesting thing, and I'm going to show you how to do this, is I can stack 54.5% crit chance on my LVOA-C without using pulse. So obviously with pulse I'm at the cap. The cap is 60%. I know I'm going over, but it doesn't matter. But the thing about this is that I can do it all the time. So the first thing we'll do is get into the build real quick. I'm running 2 Predator's Mark, 2 Tactician with a Ninja Bike, so 3 and 3. So I'm getting 8% damage with my SMGs and my assault rifles from the Predator's Mark. And from the Tactician I'm getting 15% skill haste and 10% skill power. Let's start with my weapons. My LVOA-C, 20% armor damage. 21.4 thousand base damage is quite high. I have Adept, and Adept is the key to this build. Deadly and competent. Extended magazine with crit chance and crit damage, and again, I don't run a rate of fire magazine. On anything over 800 rounds per minute, I find that I'd rather have the crit chance and crit damage rather than 50 more rounds per minute. Crit chance scope with crit damage and headshot damage, a trifecta. I always say if you don't have these 3 on your muzzle and your optics, you're doing it wrong. Suppressor is for sale, I believe, at the Wolves Den. SR7 suppressor, 18% crit damage, 3% crit chance, stability and reduced threat. And then I have a crit damage, reload speed, and optimal range. The main thing I care about is crit damage. I will put on a stability grip. Because this thing is a beast, it's hard to control, it's hard to tame, but I alternate back and forth. My MP5, the crit chance could be a little bit higher, but honestly you're going to see I don't need it. I wouldn't care if there was, 10% crit chance in this thing. High base damage. Now, you might notice I only have 73-61 firearms, so this is not a high DPS, or DPS focused build. Deadly, responsive, and competent. Again, extended magazine with crit chance and crit damage. Optics, crit damage, crit chance, headshot damage. Loud vent break, which is for sale at, not this one, but there is a really good one for sale at DZ9 Safe House. But again, crit damage, headshot damage, crit chance, somewhat increased threat, but who cares. And a small underbarrel with crit damage. Reload speed and stability, again, is bonus, but I don't really worry about it too much. Okay, vigorous chest piece. The main things you want on a chest piece are skill haste and health. It would be great if I had ammo capacity. However, you really only need ammo capacity on either your chest piece or your backpack. You don't need them on both. NPCs drop ammo all the time. With one ammo capacity, you're going to have around 1,500 rounds. That's plenty. You don't need 2,000 rounds of ammo. So 9% skill haste is the max, 15,600 health, could be a little higher, but not a lot. Increased kill XP, I really don't care. I have electronics mod with skill haste and another electronics mod with health. This build is a little bit squishy, but that's okay, and I'm going to show you why. My booster shot pops constantly. Comes back within 4 or 5 seconds of expiring. My Predator's Mark mask could be a little bit better armor, but again, armor really doesn't play a role like it used to, guys. 33% is the most you're really going to have. And quite honestly, as long as you're around 30-31 or better, you're in good shape. Crit chance is nice. Disorient resistance is nice. But again, I'm not too worried about it as long as it doesn't have, increased kill XP or that kind of thing. And again, I have a stamina mod with health. The reason I have the stamina mod, if you notice on my MP5, I have responsive in the second slot, so I have to have enough stamina to activate that. That's the only reason, otherwise it would be a firearms mod with health. Predator's Mark knee pads, rolled well for firearms, good armor. Health could be a little higher, but again, pretty good. 3 nice minor attributes, shock, burn, and blind death resistance. And again, a firearms mod with skill haste and first aid self-heal. Now my Tactician's holster is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. 1270s across the board, max skill haste, good armor. All around amazing holster, and again I have a first aid self-heal on it. Gloves, I'd like to have some gloves with assault rifle damage. I am looking for them, but for now I'm an SMG fan anyway. So pretty decent armor, decent electronics, okay SMG damage. It can go up to 1001, but I don't care too much. Crit damage could be 2% higher, which would be nice, but most importantly is skill haste. Ninja Bike backpack, kicking myself like a lot of people. I deconstructed 10 or 12 of these things before we realized that they were going to be any good. Some of them are god rolled. I did accidentally actually save 3 of them, which was nice. So this is the one I'm using right now. Decent armor, good firearms, critical hit damage. I would rather this had health on it, quite honestly. But again, okay, you get what you get. And ammo capacity is maxed out at 55%. Electronics with health, and 2 first aid self-heal mods. I'll go to my character sheet. As you can see with my SMG, my MP5 ST, I have 33.5% crit chance base, 123% crit damage, which is nice. Decent base damage on this gun. Here's the key, 46% skill haste. Now the max is 50%. I don't feel like I need to spec the extra 4% skill haste into this. I've got it kind of right where I want it to be. This really helps. I'll show you that in a second with my skills. My pulse comes back before it expires. Toughness is a little bit low. My health is, 198,000 is about as low as I really want to go for survivability. But the reason I get away with that is because my booster shot pops. And I can pop it again every 4 or 5 seconds after it expires, so I'm constantly healing. As well, when I'm with a team, I'm using triage, which I'll show you, which is an additional 15% skill haste, which is great. So my health is popping all the time. Let's go to my skills here. Pulse, this is the pulse you want to use, in my opinion. I don't feel like conceal is worth it. If you're going to go rogue, stand and fight. Don't worry about hiding. But you'll notice that the cooldown is 18.1 seconds, so let's call it 18 seconds. The duration is 20. So it's actually back and active before it expires. I will sometimes use tactical scanner if I'm in a group and we need that extra bonus damage, but quite honestly, recon pack is the way you want to go. Booster shot, now the booster shot, the cooldown could be faster. I've had it down around 19-20 seconds, which is great. But even at 24 seconds, it comes back within, like I said, 4 or 5 seconds after it expires. Really, really helps out quite a bit. My talents, triage. When I'm with a group, and I'm always with a group for the most part, 15% cooldowns on skills when I'm healing allies, which is all the time. Critical save, kind of speaks for itself. Using a med kit reduces damage resistance for 20, or increases damage resistance for 20% for 10 seconds. Always handy. Again, strike back, re-slow health to reduce cooldowns by 20 per second for your skills. That happens a lot too, which is kind of nice. And then we have on the move. On the move, unless you're running a pure tactician's build or a Firecrest build or something where you're really not relying on your guns, in my opinion, on the move is still an absolute mandatory must. So take that for what it's worth. I always use on the move. So let's go back to my assault rifle, my LVOA-C. Now you'll notice that my base crit chance is only 17%, which is really, really pathetic. However, there's no base crit chance on the weapon. It's very hard to stack crit chance unless you're relying on pulse. Now, my pulse gives me, what was it again here? 16.5. So I'm looking at about 30, 31%, 32% when I'm pulsing, which is all the time. But here's the thing, if I'm in a group and someone else is pulsing, or let's say nobody's pulsing and I want to stack crit chance, I'm going to show you how to do that. And the way I do it, if you notice, I have Adept on this. Now Adept, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but 7.5% crit chance for 15 seconds, well, you can stack that. And what I mean is, every time you pop a skill, it adds another 7.5% for 15 seconds. So if your cooldowns on your pulse are less than the duration, it's very easy to stack 7.5% crit chance over and over and over again getting to the maximum of 60% or right around there without ever using a pulse. So let me show you how to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop my booster shot. Now you'll notice that competent... Oh, guess I got to have the right gun here. You'll notice when I pop a skill, there's Adept and Competent at the bottom. I'm watching them cool down, watching them cool down. I'm going to pulse again. It starts over again. So I'm watching it cool down. My pulse is coming back. I'll pop booster shot, which is another skill. It's going to stack it again. And let's pop pulse one more time. Now, let's see where our crit chance is. 39.5%. So I'm going to do it a couple more times here. Stacking Adept again. And you'll see I reach 54.5% crit chance. There you go. 54.5% crit chance, 108% weapon crit damage. And I'm actually not relying on the pulse. Now, pulse is actually there. However, my base crit chance is already at the max. And you'll see how fast my pulse comes back. Now again, my booster shot, when I'm in a team, is reduced by 15% because I'm healing them all the time too. So anyway, guys, that's the build I'm playing with. It's been a lot of fun. My toughness, is low, but I have enough health, obviously, as you can see, to keep healing myself and my team and keep pulsing or whatever I need to do to stack crit chance along with my crit damage on my assault rifle, whether it's an LVOA-C or a lightweight M4 or an AR or whatever. As long as you have Adept and you can keep popping skills, staggering them if you need to, you can stack 7.5% crit chance over and over and over again to reach the maximum without relying on your pulse. It makes a huge difference. It's a lot of fun to play with. It really works well on players. A lot of times they don't see it coming. And that's the build I'm playing with right now. For the time being, this is what I'm experimenting with. I do also have a rapid chest piece that I sometimes use, which brings my my booster shot back even faster. However, I find that the overheal from Vigorous works better for me, is more advantageous, and because I can pop it so often, works all the time. So that's it, guys. Until next time, I'll see you in the Dark Zone. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Have a great night, agents.